Sheila?
Hi, my name's Sheila Geraghty. I'm a small business owner in Narragansett. Prior to coming to Rhode Island, I was a clinical social worker in Houston, Texas, where I had a specialty practice in cancer and AIDS. And I'm here tonight to speak for the dead. Sometimes we get issues up here at the Statehouse, and I feel compelled because of who I knew that's no longer able to speak for themselves. Many of my HIV patients, advanced age patients, would get very remorseful, as everybody does near death, I guess. And I discovered that nearly all of my clients had been abused sexually, either by a man or a woman, because it happens, even though we're all focusing on the priest tonight. In Texas, my patients weren't Catholic. They were various sects of Baptists, a couple of Jewish guys. They came from New York, actually. So they're sort of adopted Texans. If we look around Rhode Island, I'm not here to bash the Catholic Church. I'm not here to bash any church, but I can guarantee you there's abusers in every church, in every institution that has anything to do with children. Any employer that has kids working for them, teenage kids, could tell you dreadful stories about the dairy farmer who was also into bestiality. But you don't need to hear those stories. There's enough real victims in this room. And I think as human beings, you are all probably pretty well convinced that it's a heinous crime. I have no hope that we will eradicate pedophilia. It's been with us since, we left the proverbial garden, if you believe that mythology. I have no hope that convicted pedophiles can be redeemed, be rehabilitated, but they sure do deserve their time in jail. Most of my guys, when we'd go through these memories, would say, I don't need money from the church, but I'd sure like to see him pay. I'd sure like to see him humiliated after the shame and heartbreak destroyed my life. And no one claimed that they became homosexual because of their abuse, but I think that they were targets for abuse because the adult realized the kid was already carrying shame and disgust, and they made an easy target. So I would encourage you all to pass this out of committee. Don't worry about the institutions. They're all legal corporations. They'll all figure out how to take care of themselves. Like he said, his suit wasn't against the church. It was against a corporation. We're just fooling ourselves. Whether it happens to be the 4-H club, the scouts of any kind, churches, daycares, whatever, the corporations have to deal with what the corporations hid. And I think that's only fair. If you have accessories before and after and during the fact for murder, all of those other entities need to be held equally responsible. And I don't think any victim filing suit is in it for the money. It's more of to validate their own personal self that it wasn't their fault and that somebody else was truly to blame. And if I have anything negative to say about this bill, is that it's only 35 years. I would have liked to see a bill that had no limit, or even 50 years limit. But beyond that, please work with your colleagues and convince them that whatever institutional entity is morally bankrupt enough to try to squash this bill has no moral authority to force compliance to their will. Thank you.
Thank you.